All right, let me get some calls here. Tom, Philadelphia, you're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, John?
Andrew.
Andrew, I wanted to respectfully disagree with you on something you said before. You were talking about how people aren't happy, if something goes their way. You mentioned the punk rock scene. If it's too big, they're always complaining from their porch. Have you ever turned it on yourself? That you, just because you have a radio show, are able to make pronouncements about things, but you're in turn never happy. You've never once praised the president for anything he's done, even when you get your way. When you get extension of the Bush tax cuts, or something that your side views as, hey, we had a victory, you still complain about it.
No, when Bin Laden was killed, I was very happy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you're just very quick to cast the stones, because nothing this president can ever do is happy. And you talk about liberals. A couple weeks ago, you were talking about using these musicians and stuff. Everyone just jumps on the bandwagon. You're talking about just liberals just jump on the bandwagon. But then you never give praise to, when Sarah Palin was nominated, everyone, the Dick Morrises, the Glenn Becks, who read from his diary, he thought she should be the next president, never once looked to criticize her. So I just find such hypocrisy.
Well, what did you want me to criticize Sarah Palin on? What was it that you wanted me to criticize her on, sir?
I want you to criticize perhaps that if you're running for vice president, that she wasn't necessarily prepared to do so.
As opposed to the guy at the top of the ticket on the Democrat side.
I'm not saying that he was the best candidate either, but there was no criticism of her. And that's what I just find hypocritical, is you complain about all these liberals. We're right, they're wrong.
Well, you want me to complain about people that I agree with?
No, I want you to be able to look at your own side and be able to say that.
Yeah, when I hear someone like Rick Santorum say that he has a moral obligation and authority to ban pornography from the internet, I complained. When I hear Newt Gingrich say things that sounds like, give me the keys to the big machine, I'll just drive it better, I complain.
But if they got the nomination, you'd be the first to go, you know what, forget all that. He's the best guy.
I wouldn't say forget all that. I would now be I would juxtapose that person with the incumbent.
But you would overlook some of those things.
Okay. What are my choices then? If there's a candidate who I disagree with, let's say 40% of the time, and a candidate I disagree with 95% of the time, what do you think the proper thing to do with there is?
You should at least note the disagreements you have with that person.
I have.
Not jump on.
I have noted my disagreements with Mitt Romney the entire time.
I would say that you really haven't. It's so
really
rare.
When we talked about the failures of Romney Care, that's not legitimate criticism to you, sir?
I actually don't think it is, because it's so extreme towards the other side, where you throw out these accusations. You call the president, you make these just blanket statements, but you call him a communist and a socialist. And
he's a member of the New Party, sir. That's a communist socialist party.
You know what it's not. You know what real communism is, okay? It doesn't exist today. Just because he has some tendencies of policy.
No, sir. He doesn't have some tendencies of policy, sir. He doesn't have some tendencies. He wants to federalize everything under him. He's a member of a communist party. The documents have been aired. What
documents have been aired? You sound like
he signed up for the New Party, sir. What do you mean? What is it? Because you didn't see it? It doesn't exist?
No, you just jump on the bandwagon.
No, I'm not jumping on a bandwagon. I know what you're doing here, sir. I know what you're doing. Okay, yes, I understand. You read one of those websites where okay. You read one of those websites where what you do is you prove the host isn't principled, therefore nobody's principled, and then how could I stand on principle when I clearly have no principle? I see what you're doing here, sir.
No, that's really not what I'm doing.
It's exactly what you're doing.
There's no website. This is my own thoughts.
Okay.
I just can't stand.
You said that I didn't criticize Sarah Palin enough, so I'm dishonest. I haven't criticized Mitt Romney enough, so I'm dishonest. I criticized the president too much so I'm dishonest, and I keep calling him things like socialist and communist, and then when I tell you that he's a member of the new party, that flies right over your head, so I'm dishonest. So how could I be questioning other people's honesty when I'm so dishonest myself, sir? I see this coming a mile away.
Said dishonest. I never said that.
Okay, what were you portraying me as? What was the portrayal that you were what was the portrait of me you were creating?
That of a sycophant and a follower.
Sycophant of whom?
Of everything that one side says, we have to stand by it. Oh, everyone's saying these talking points. He's a communist. Because he joins a party, you think
if you join a communist party, you don't join a communist party unless you are a communist, sir.
Wrong. People do things in their youth. Is Glenn Beck?
Okay, well, thank you very much for the call. This is not about Glenn Beck or me or Sean Hannity or Mike Church or anyone else. None of those people signed on the dotted line of a communist party. In 1996, he was not in his youth.